What the fuck's up? Angry Black Quarterback, episode number 9, Trade Town. Mr. Goody will be with here in a little bit. Mr. Goody will be here. I think he's got to drop the dog off. Some dog sitting custody battle. But we're back with another one. We got a lot of trades to get into. We're going to talk some World Series. We're going to talk Astros. We're going to talk Broncos. I got Joe here to start. We're also going to get into bets. It looks like he had 2 good weeks making Papa some money. That's what I'm talking about. So we'll just get into all of this. I'm just going to bring him in from the beginning because I've been trying to get these guys to watch these clips with me and go over shit like the bear video. And I know Schultz is anti doing any of that, but you know, right off the bat, we got Joe in the house. Let's give him a round of applause as he joins us. Of course, Mr. 2.0, the man with the robot, the man I gave I gave $1,000 to go make some money. I feel like we've been making some. So, I mean, we'll get into that later. We got to wait for Goody. He texted me last night about placing some crazy ass bet on the World Series, and it hit. So I want to hear about that too. Some like 1,050 odds. But I think I only put like $10 or something like that down. But how are you doing, man? What's up? In a different backdrop, no longer under the stairs, underneath the bunk bed. To give us the rundown. What's going on?
Yeah, so at my fraternity, we're having beach week this week. So basically what that is, we take 15 tons of sand, put it into our basement, and just have like a week-long party. So because there's going to be a lot of stuff going on at the house, I think I'm going to interrupt this podcast. So reserved a study room at the library, and that's where we're shooting from right now.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, I appreciate you doing that. You're a trooper for doing that. I mean, obviously, you'll be able to go back. So, yeah, another round of applause for Joe. But, yeah, obviously, you'll be able to go back and join back into the partying, I'm sure. You said it's a week long, so it's what, you're just getting started or about halfway through the week?
We're about halfway through. We put in the sand on Monday night, and it's just every night there's something going on. And then Saturday's our big like beach party thing, so that'll be a lot of fun.
Okay, well, and just so you guys know, the audio is on point. There is a delay on Joe's video. He is in the middle of fucking nowhere in South Dakota. So, I mean, obviously, he laughed. Okay, good. So we might get a delay, but not on the audio, but definitely on the video. Well, I appreciate you coming in and doing that. Are you getting like sand all over your shit? I'm not really into being covered or surrounded in sand. It like feels gross. I'm too hairy to be like covered in sand. So is all your shit getting covered in sand? Like, are y'all tracking it upstairs or what?
So we put carpet throughout the entire house to try and cover the sand. Like people do get sand into their rooms. I take extra precautions. Like I shower after every time I go into the sand. Like get all of it off, and then I like wear shoes throughout the house to make sure I don't track any into my room.
Are y'all like raking it actively? Is there like an active effort to make sure this sand is safe? Because I feel like at this point by Friday night it's gonna be covered in like jewel pods and all sorts of shit. It's just gonna be all over the sand. So I kind of worry about that. Like, are there precautions to make sure the sand is safe? Because I mean, it's just, I mean, people walking around. I mean, I guess do you make them go barefoot? Are they wearing shoes? I have so many questions.
Some people go barefoot, some people choose to wear shoes, but then they get sand everywhere. So
yeah, if you're
really the only danger. Oh, sorry. Really, the only danger with this sand is like. I don't know if y'all know, but like with Smirnoff ices, like the drinks that they make, you can like hide them. Then if somebody finds it, they get iced and they have to chug it.
Yeah.
So people will like bury ices in the sand. So like you'll just be walking, step on something hard, dig it up, and you got to chug a bottle of Smirnoff ice.
Yeah, that's the worst. We used to back in Austin, we would like bury them in people's bar wells, or you'd put it in the safe. So someone would go in to open the safe, and then they'd get like iced, and you'd be like, gotcha. I miss those days. Yeah, those are rough. But you got to be a real big dick too, and you got to get the 32 ounce. Like, I don't like, people will be like, oh, I'm gonna do a 6-pack, but making someone chug an entire 32 ounce, especially if it's ice cold, it's so painful. That does not feel good. Nobody wants to actively chug an ice cold Smirnoff Ice. Well, I mean, shout out to y'all. That's really innovative, kind of gross, kind of weird. I mean, I shout out to you for taking a shower while you're trudging through this weird, creepy sand. And just to dive into some sports, because that's why we're here. Your Broncos won, man. Broncos country, let's ride. And now so we made fun of him because he was doing all that goofy shit where he was, what's it called? Well, I'm actually playing this clip. It's a video of him from Barstool. It's Russell Wilson stretching on the plane. It's actually a man in like like biker shorts, slinging and shotting himself around with some bungees at a gym. But he really played into the whole concept of like Broncos country, let's ride. Like he's like trying to own his meme, so I got to give him credit for that. But how did you feel about that? And they also made some trades, big ones for you and ones you might not be too happy about.
Yeah, I'm not happy about the Bradley Chubb trade. Just kind of shows that the Broncos are punting on the season.
Yeah.
Like we got Chase Edmonds for running back in return, which is like a good filler because I don't trust. Am I blanking on his name?
Melvin Gordon the third.
Yeah, Melvin Gordon.
He's been playing for forever now too. Melvin Gordon's getting up there in age, bro. He's not a spring chicken anymore. Melvin Gordon's getting old as fuck. I'll say it. But yeah, and Chase Edmonds is on like his third team. He was on the Cardinals, then he was on Miami, then he's like bounced around a lot. He's been all over the place lately. But he's a good filler. He could get you 1,000 yards, but he's not like he's a part of a running back by committee for sure. So maybe he'll be a good compliment to Gordon. But yeah, y'all picked up the dub. You didn't trade Judy, but you did trade Bradley Chubb. That's kind of rough. But I mean,
that is rough.
I mean, I feel like you guys are getting rid of him because you paid Russell Wilson. Because they're both commanding a big salary. He's going to want somewhere $20 million plus in Bradley Chubb. And I don't know if we're seeing these guys. They're just like, fuck the salary cap. I have a rich billionaire owner. I'm going to put a bunch of money on a bonus and prorate that over a period of time and like pay that with my personal money and then sign them to some contract. Like, not like make most of their guaranteed money come from my pocket and not from the salary cap, which is smart because we've seen the Rams do that, but I feel like that's what Miami's doing. The Eagles have done that a little bit. A lot of teams are hedging their future on picking up these good players from teams that don't seem to be in it. But that Bradley Chubb hit, that's rough, man. That's going to be a big person to replace. How do you feel about your playoff chances with him gone and all the new moves? Do you think you have a better chance now than you did before?
No, I don't think we do. Because, like, Bradley Chubb is he's an elite edge pass rusher. Like, he's the type of guy that offenses have to game plan around. And so without him, their offenses are free to do more of what they want. They don't have to they don't have to slide the protection just to him.
See, now what I think they're planning on doing then is they're looking to go after one of these top flight pass rushers in the top 5, top 8 in this draft coming up. Because now they've got some capital, they have some pieces, they've drafted a young corner, they've invested money in their quarterback, they've still got some young running backs, and now they have a veteran on like a friendly deal. Judy's like underperforming, you could say, to say the least, honestly. And he's going to be probably cheaper than people would have thought, just because his play suffered regardless of who the quarterback is. He's very inconsistent and injury prone. So you have some young pieces you could invest in, like the defensive pass rush in this next draft. Go after that kid from Bama. There's, a lot of good top flight pass rushers. And it looks like they're going to, because y'all have your first round pick, right?
Yeah, I think we do.
So if you guys have your first round pick, then y'all are, you're going to be in a spot to definitely pick up one of these top flight pass rushers and just try to fill that hole. But that was wild when they said they traded Bradley Chubb. I was like, damn, that's pretty nuts. I thought they would trade Judy maybe. I didn't think they'd trade Chubb. But, and Goody's on the line. We'll see if he pops up right away. But we'll give him a clap. I love his picture. He's like holding his chin. His glamour shot picture. Oh, he's there. Okay, we'll give him another round of applause. The Goody's here. How was family swap.
The hostage exchange.
Yeah, the hostage exchange. Although I don't like you referring to your dog as a hostage.
Well, she is like when she's not in my custody, you know.
Okay, that's fine. That's fair. That's fair. Well, how was it? Everything good?
Yeah, all good.
All right,
How are you guys?
doing good, man. We were just talking about how Broncos country, let's ride, won a game, but they traded like everybody in the universe off their fucking team, so they're looking like they're in pretty rough shape.
Yeah.
You know, it is what it is. And so Joe was telling us earlier he's having beach day at their or beach week at their frat house. So the whole bottom floor of their house is covered in beach sand, and he's coming to us live from a student pod that he rented out to do the podcast because there's so much crazy shit going on. I was telling him I was worried about the cleanliness of the sand by Sunday when they remove it. It's gonna be full of jewel pods and all sorts of shit and blunt wraps or whatever the fuck you college kids are into, puff bars.
Well, when he said that on the group text, I was like, I didn't know there was beaches in South Dakota.
Yeah,
But
right.
at my fraternity, we did the exact same thing, and we would go at night to the beach and steal sand like illegally because you can't just take sand from the beach.
Yeah.
And we'd fill up like pickup trucks full of sand, and then yeah, it was like in our courtyard for like weeks.
Yeah, that's just, I mean, sand is not my friend. And I'm just like, nah, brah. Like, I'm not really into it like that. That would stress me the fuck out. It's sand everywhere, sand in my shit. I'm just like, ugh.
I mean, we were in San Diego, so like we had, the beach was just there. But
Yeah, you're
I don't know.
always full of fucking sand. Everything's full
Two
of sand.
2.0 is just stealing sand from like the frackers out there in South
Yeah,
Dakota.
they're like, yeah, take this here sand, boy. It ain't bad. It's glowing. It glows underneath the black light, but that ain't a problem, man. It's free. Just take it. Yee!
I think we got it from like some construction guy or something.
That sounds
Yeah.
shady as fuck. I love it.
It fell off the back of a truck.
In South Dakota, though, I feel like you would have a sand guy. You're like, oh, I got this from my sand guy. You're like, what? You got a sand guy? That's badass. That's interesting. Well, welcome you guys. Another one, number 9. We're gonna get into bets in a little bit, but I'm gonna get into a couple of these topics. So they're talking about first of all, first time since 2003. Big facts. There is a white cornerback, Troy Apple, for the Washington Commanders. First white cornerback since 2003. So what, 19 years? That's crazy. I didn't realize it'd been that long. I remember Jason Sehorn for the Giants, but I can't remember that many white corners like growing up. So like shout out to this guy and shout out to the inclusion and the NFL being pro and equal opportunity at cornerback.
Isn't Weddle white?
He's a safety.
Yeah.
Weddle's a safety.
You're right.
There's some good white safeties. Eric Smith for the Vikings. I mean, obviously color doesn't play into it, but corner. I mean, there hasn't been a really good dominant white corner that's been white in forever. I can't think of one outside of Jason Sehorn, and then he like tweaked his ankle, and that was, I think the game was different then. I think Jason Sehorn would get peak Jason Sehorn would get smoked right now by some of these wide receivers that are out there, but.
Are you saying this is the only white cornerback in the league, or
Yeah,
starting?
the first white cornerback in the NFL since 2003.
Even a backup?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
that's crazy. And to continue with that article by Axios, it came out apparently Dan Snyder, owner of the Washington football team, Commanders, or an out-of-date slur if you're still one of those people. It's like they should change the name back. Which is
the
absurd.
C words, bro. It's the C words.
Yeah, the C words if you're Mr. Goody. Yeah, he's looking into selling the team, which I think they should have forced him to do a long time ago. I know that like Jerry Jones or Jim Irsay's commented on it recently. But I mean, the whole thing with them selling these teams, there are like, he probably bought that team. I mean, I'm sure you could look it up. But for what he's going to sell it for what he bought it for is like such a dramatic increase. And it's always these like super shitty guys that, now they're sailing off into the sunset, and he's talking about all avenues, like still maintaining a minority slice of, I mean, that's absolutely hilariously ridiculous, but owning a minority slice of the Washington football team Commanders. still owning a piece of the team, just turning over controlling interest, or maintaining controlling and selling out little parcels of the football team. But he's going to sell it for like $3 billion, $4 billion, right? And then
over four for sure. I mean, the Phoenix Suns, the NBA team, is going to go for over four.
Yeah, but I feel like I think the NBA teams might be worth more. And I mean, we can argue that in a second, but I'll let you finish your thought. Sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say he bought it in 1999 for 750 mil.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. So some of these guys are walking away with like 5, 6, 7 times their investments.
Yeah, he just fucked up on the name, calling it the Commanders right before he has to sell it because it could have been a lot cooler.
Yeah, somebody can change it though. Like, I mean, it definitely needs to happen. They definitely need to. He needs to be out of there for sure. And
they should call themselves the Washington Bullets. Bring that shit back.
That'd be tight. That'd be really cool. And then you could get like a throwback, like Arenas jersey. So you could get you could get a Washington Bullets football Gilbert Arenas jersey. Although that would probably be in bad taste given the current cultural climate. Someone would probably freak out on you, but that would also be like the sickest jersey ever.
I have that. Remember, I think I sent you a picture. I have my dad has a throwback Arenas jersey, but it wasn't Bullets though. But
Agent Zero.
Agent Zero.
Yeah, and so I just read this article today where today or this month or today, maybe it was today or yesterday, was the last time the Heat had to pay Chris Bosh. They've been paying him. They did 120 payments of $435-ish $1,000 twice a month since 2017. So they had to do 120 payments of like essentially almost $500,000. And he hasn't been. And that's so crazy. And there was a period of time where Gilbert Arenas was getting double paid by 2 teams and wasn't even in the NBA anymore. I think it was the Magic. And then he came back and signed some like minimum deal to go play with some other shitty team because he didn't need the money because Washington owed him like 20-30 million a year. Like it was nuts. There was one period of time where he'd been out of the league for 3 or 4 years and he was still the highest paid. I think T-Mac was like that. Allen Houston was like that.
Yeah, Arenas played with the Clippers like in the summer league or like in the summertime, and then he realized he was over it.
Yeah, I mean now we just like talk shit all the time, but yeah, man. So they might make Dan Snyder might be selling the team. I hope he just sells it. I hope it's not some like, oh, I'm still gonna have a say in it because he's drove that place into the fucking ground. And then you see like all people forget all those weird Gruden emails that got Gruden fired. Those came from correspondence like in this investigation that they've had. So and then they sealed everything shut to not get anyone else in trouble. And I feel like some of that they've wanted Dan Snyder gone for a long time, and you just can't like force him. Change the name of the team once FedEx is like, okay, we're pulling our money because he's getting paid other ways, man. They profit share in the NFL, but the name and likeness shit and selling stuff and all their merch and ticket sales, they get to keep that. Granted, it's Washington, so I doubt they turn that big of a profit off their own shit.
What I heard was that Jerry Jones and the other owners were like actually, so it's like he's a shitty guy is like the narrative, but it's actually he fucked up on the stadium deal that he was supposed to get for their new stadium, and he fucked it up with Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia. Like they all wanted him to build like a new stadium in those states, and he was just like, nah, I don't like. And then they were like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I think he said that to like Robert Kraft. He was like he said something like what the fuck, man? And then Robert Kraft's like, whoa, you're talking to me like that? And like it got like super contentious like in the owners meeting.
Yeah, it's a bunch of old dudes with a shit ton of money. I mean, we just talked about Robert Kraft recently just getting married to his boo thing and Tom Brady looking like a crazy person in the background. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like a dick measuring contest with a lot of these guys. And but Dan Snyder's also been embroiled in so much stuff, and then there's all the rumors about him having secret private investigators and people spying on other owners to get dirt so they can't vote him out. They need 24 owners. But Jim Irsay's talked about it. Jim Irsay's been embroiled in his own scandals where he was all pilled out all the time and wandering around and shit, and then he sits there and talks about you know.
Yeah, but he's sober now, and everybody knows about Ursay's shit. So he's like, "Listen, you already know about my shit." So
No,
like,
no, true, no. Jim Irsay's
I'm
like
not worried. I'm not. Get your PIs out because you guys already know everything about my shit.
Yeah, no, that's the reason why he's one of the people to speak out. But I mean, maybe that Jerry Jones and that like illegitimate daughter that he hasn't claimed, maybe all of that came out because of it. It makes, I'm sure it makes them like double guess what they're dealing with. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. All these guys when they get caught and they have to sell their teams, they end up walking away with like bajillions of dollars on like you know, up from what they started with. So it's like, not, while it is a punishment, it's also not like the biggest punishment, because these guys, you know, are walking away still extremely rich, you know.
Snyder, I think, wants to. The reason why he's like pissed about it because he wants to give it to his kids, the franchise.
Yeah.
But also, I heard that his wife is like does a lot of the dealing, and all the owners like really respect his wife, and so they were trying to figure out a way to like maybe she could like just run the team and somehow like X him out. But then they're like, I don't know, I think that's not going to really work.
Yeah, maybe. You know, shout out to my buddy Troy. He's been watching quite a bit, and he was just saying, yeah, Frank Thomas still gets a cut from the White Sox. There's that Bobby Bonilla deal where he's getting paid. He gets $1 million something every since Bobby Bonilla Day, where he still gets paid. So some of those guys have got
from
some,
the Mets,
from the Mets, yeah, like some long-term investment, and that's wild because he's been getting that for a grip. It's like
$1 million a year.
$1 million a year. That's like, I mean, that's smart though. I mean, you see some of these guys, and you know they get screwed.
No, it's not, because I got a Powerball ticket. The shit's over $1 billion. It's about I'm about to be a billionaire here in like 2.5 hours. I'm taking the money. I'm not telling them that. You know, I don't know if the Powerball is going to be around in like 20 years. Like, give me the fucking 500 million straight up, and you know, just like the interest on it alone, you know, is enough to, you know.
Yeah, no, definitely. Now, if you were to win, let's say, because I bought a Powerball ticket, I bought 10. I spent 20. I bought a 10 ticket piece.
I feel like it's bad luck to buy more than one.
Yeah, but like, when it's this many, I'm like, nah, fuck it. I'm just gonna. I'd rather do it and get a good amount. I don't like sit there and pick them. I'm just like, all right, just give me. It has to be a certain amount.
I actually got in on the last one where it was like right close to, it was at $1 billion. Like the last drawing was Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I got 2, and I just told the guy to, you know, I didn't pick them. He just printed it. And the Powerball number was 12 on both of them. I was like, bro, you gave me 2 numbers, and they both have the same Powerball number. And he's like, oh, you never know, you know, the number's in the middle. He's like, I was like, and 12 was the Powerball number I had twice.
Yeah.
Powerball number was 13. Fuck.
Yeah, I mean, so I've got mine are all different. I looked at it, but I just had to get one. It has to be a certain amount. But okay, if I win the Powerball, I'm gonna give both of y'all $1 million. At least.
Ooh,
do you make that same commitment, Mr. Goody?
I will buy 2.0's fraternity and then shut it down. That's about it. No,
wow, you aren't even gonna buy.
I'm already booing. I'm booing you now. I'm booing you, dude. Now you're getting booed heavy for that. That's not cool. And we're bringing out the war horn. How dare you?
I'll buy you guys a trip out to California so you can see what a real beach looks like.
Whatever, dude. If you win it, then fine. If you don't want to give us each $1 million, then you have to put $1 million into an event where you fight Joey Bag of Donuts.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That's already happening, regardless if I win or not. I'm gonna whoop his ass.
Okay, deal. Who am I supposed to? Who am I fighting? Who am I fighting?
You're fighting.
It's not Oprah, is it? Please tell me.
No.
Because I'd lose that battle, dude. Oprah whipped my ass.
No, one of the Paul brothers.
Oh, that's right. I gotta fight one of the Pauls. Okay, yeah, that's right. I gotta fight one of the Pauls, and you fight Joey Bag of Donuts.
That's right, Joe Rogan. I'm coming for you.
I've been playing this video. It's this train running over one of these delivery robots. It has nothing to do with sports, but it's a great video because it's like somebody's fucking Uber Eats getting dropped. Okay, well, before we get into bets too, I want to talk about this World Series. How you feeling right now, Mr. Goody? Phillies up.
Phillies up.
They destroyed them last night. Are they up right
man.
now?
It's 0-0, I think.
Oh,
But
0-0. Okay.
I put in an Exotica parlay yesterday.
Yeah.
1.15 units. So I put in $11.50 and it was plus 1,150. It was the Philly starter, Ranger Suarez is his name. He has to have 4 strikeouts or more. The leadoff hitter Schwarber had to hit a home run, and the Phillies had to win. Plus 1150. Boom, hit it.
Yeah, you hit it early, man. You texted me at like in the 5th inning, and you were like, "Man, if they hold this, then like I'm up." So I was like, "Fuck yeah."
It was they tied the World Series record for most home runs in a game. It's like the World Series has been going around for like what 100 fucking years.
Yeah.
And they kept the pitcher in, and they were all off of their fucking starting pitcher. But the starting pitcher for the Phillies, Suarez, exactly 4 strikeouts. They take him out. I'm like, okay. And then Schwarber, the guy I bet on to hit a home run, was up third, like in the lineup in that next inning. And I was like, it's go time, baby.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
He just murdered the ball. Murdered. It was like, and then the next guy came up after him and hit a home run, and then he took the pitcher out finally. It was like, it was perfect, dude. It was like, I was so stoked.
Yeah, no, that was epic. I'm not going to lie. That was fucking awesome. Fuck the Astros. I don't know if you guys saw this video, but Mattress Mac, do you know who Mattress Mac is? He's this old white guy who sells mattresses to people in Houston, and he places those ludicrous bets where he's like, 10 million, I will put $10 million down that this horse will win a race for the Triple Crown. And I feel like half of the time it doesn't work out. I feel like he loses, but I guess he got into it with some fans the other day. So they were in Philly, and he's like, fuck you, like yelling at these fucking people. But I hate the Astros, man. I'm not going to lie. I fucking hate the Astros. I never really liked them to begin with. I think we've talked about this before, but now I want them to lose so bad. I want them to lose.
So does all of America. But, I got a text from PJ Newkirk today. He said that he's starting to root for the Astros because they're the most like villainized team in America. And I'm like, okay, so what you voting for Trump too because everybody hates him? Like, get the fuck out of here. They're villainized because they fucking cheated.
Yeah, they got caught cheating. Yeah, like they got caught cheating and they're assholes. That's why everybody's like, hey, fuck those guys because they're cheaters. It's not. It's like very validating. Like,
Have you heard the Philly crowd? They start chanting cheaters.
Oh, I got a clip.
Cheaters.
I got a clip up here where it's the Phillies. Yeah. What's his name? McCollums is warming up, and it's this Phillies fan just yelling at him.
But the announcers, one of them was like, or like Schmaltz was like, what are they saying? Heater? And he's like, and the other announcer was like, no, it's heater with a C in the front.
Yeah. This guy's like, he's warming up, and this Phillies fan is right over the bullpen. He's like, Hotchkiss got with your girlfriend twice in high school.
The Phillies are setting records for like runs and wins at home in the playoffs this year.
Oh, yeah.
It's like the crowd is wild.
Yeah, definitely. It's pretty nuts. Damn, that's
we
a
lost
wild.
2.0, by the way.
No, I know he'll be back. He's probably lost it. Like he's got that really shitty Wi-Fi out there, man. I mean, so he'll pop back on. He always does. It's just he probably got dropped and has to reload.
I thought they were like mining Bitcoin and shit out in South Dakota. Like I thought they
should be. It's like they're like, this is my meth shed / I mine Ethereum out here. So it's like it's a two-parter.
Yeah, like I know in Wyoming they use like a lot of the excess energy that gets burned off from the fracking. They like repurpose it to like run their their server farms for mining Bitcoin.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, if you were doing that, you'd be making a shit ton of money.
Yeah, but I think they frack in North Dakota mostly, not South Dakota.
Yeah, I mean he's as close to civilization as you can get there too. Oh, see, I told you he'd be back. He coming straight out of the Badlands and the Death Mountains of South Dakota. the #1 engineer robot bet man in the world, Blurry Ass 2.0.
You need an upgrade on your robot. You need a robot 2.0 to get your Wi-Fi to work.
Yeah, that's true. You need to build Wi-Fi for that, son. All these nerds in one place, and your Wi-Fi's that bad? Come on, dude, get out of here.
Is that like an iPod behind you? Like, what's going on?
All right, let's not.
Actually.
How do you feel about yeah, but how do we were gonna say, like, are you on the fuck the Astros train, or are you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, fuck
100%.
the Astros. And this is good because it's another time where, like, a Philly team is going up against an evil empire, just like when they went up against Tom Brady and the Patriots. So it's interesting. I love whenever, I mean, we've seen this recently, but when a Philadelphia team is in the position recently to, like, win a championship, they're either, like, overlooked the underdog and got this, like, kind of grit to them. Now, the last time, like 25 years ago or whatever it is, when the Phillies were in it, they were like one of the best teams in baseball. So it's completely different. Not that this team isn't, but this Houston team is like the equivalent. They've been in 4 of the last 6 World Series. They're the defending champs. I mean, those Phillies teams didn't win a championship, did they?
No, the Phillies won in 08.
That's right, 08.
And then we're back in the World Series.
Yeah, okay, that's right.
In 09. Yeah, they went back to back. Well, seriously, they only won one, but they beat the fucking Yankees.
Yeah, and now it's like, you know, you think about the validation for bringing on somebody like Bryce Harper and how much money they paid for him. People being like, "Oh, fuck that,
300 mil."
Yeah, like now, I mean, if they win a World Series, it's worth it. That pay.
100%.
Yeah, like that. This is, you know, it's 100% worth it. So, but yeah, shout out Phillies, please beat those fucking cheaters because I can't stand the fucking Astros, dude.
443 feet, that home run that my boy Schwarber hit last night.
Smacked it, man. They're out there smacking it.
It was like a no doubter. It's just like, and then the next guy comes up, first swing, boom. God, I mean, it was ridiculous. The game was just in the bag, demoralizing for the Astros. Is it 2-3-2 how they do it in the World Series?
Yeah, I believe so. 2-3-2.
So the Astros might not even go home.
Yeah, it's possible. If they lose this game tonight, that's going to be really hard. Not impossible. We've seen it before. But if they go down 3-1, that's going to be.
And another game in Philly.
Yeah,
that's a problem.
Do you guys know anything about the Von Erich family? Have you guys ever heard about that? They're from Dallas. They're like this wrestling family that's super fucking wild and crazy. Well, there's this movie that's coming out about it. And Zac Efron's playing one of the brothers. You guys, like, I definitely, for you, Schultz, you guys should look this shit up. It's like one of the wildest things ever. But they were in Dallas, based out of Dallas. They had like 3 or 4 sons and like a dad. They were like back in the 80s when wrestling was getting big. I mean, one of them lost his leg in a car accident and then ran around with the fake leg, and it came off on a wrestling match in TV. Like his prosthetic leg came off. All sorts of wild shit. But there's these goofy ass pictures. I guess Zac Efron and a bunch of other people. It's an A24 movie. I know it's random, but I just saw this picture. People are like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, "No, dude. These guys were super coked out, super crazy family in the '80s, and this movie's coming out about them." But I suggest y'all check that shit out. Just a heads
That's
up.
where the super producers actually interviewing with A24 about the work there.
Man, A24 is an awesome fucking studio, dude. That's like, they make some of my favorite stuff. So that's gonna be a really crazy movie. And I'm on, like, seriously, I think there's a Vice Dark Side of the Ring about the Von Erich family. I listened to a podcast. It actually just ended. So shout out Crime and Sports Podcast. That's one of my favorites. It ended. There's like, they talk about them all the time, but there's a whole episode where it's just, man, the craziest, like, huge dudes with these big flowing blonde perms. And I mean, they're monstrous dudes, like massive, and running around all coked out in Dallas and beating the shit out of people outside of Reunion Arena, like the crazy old wrestling Dallas. So I guess they're making a movie out of it, and it looks wild. Also playing a video of this guy at an A&M game catching a possum. It's the most like A&M bullshit I've ever seen, dude. Disgusting.
Catching a possum, like that, you don't want to catch a possum.
Yeah, it's behind the seats in the stadium, man. So he's like,
yeah, but if
shimmying
it bites you, you're like, you got like fucking like 8 different diseases.
He's holding it by the tail, but still, yeah, possums are gross, man. I don't fuck with possums like that. They got some gnarly looking teeth too.
Yeah. My dog got a baby possum one time, like when I was growing up, and like brought it to the door, and we tried to like nurse it back to health, and then I think it just died.
Damn. Topanga's killed like 4 or 5 ground moles. She digs them up and murders them. I mean, you can't like stop her. And then I remember, I think I spoke about it recently on maybe this one or the other podcast, but she murdered a skunk the other day, like a couple weeks ago. That was brutal. Topanga went out there and fucked this skunk up, and yeah, got covered in skunk, and it was just like all over the backyard. It was miserable. But yeah, I don't fuck with possums, man. They got gnarly looking teeth. They carry a lot of weird diseases and all sorts of shit. So fuck that. I think Joe had a visitor, dog.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Nah, you're cool. That was funny.
I had to say hi. I haven't seen him in a minute.
Oh, you're good, man. No worries. Would you catch a possum? What weird wild animals do you have to deal with out in the Dakotas?
You don't have to deal with much up here, honestly. Like, we got like black widows and brown recluse spiders, but like
Fuck that.
No, fuck that noise.
Nothing weird. The first time I saw an armadillo was this past summer when I was on a golf course down in Dallas. It was just like strolling along like one of the tee boxes.
I was driving around in my dad's Beamer and I hit an armadillo, and I thought like I like crashed the car. Like it was like, because it's like such a solid, like, you know, it's just like boom, boom. I'm like, what the fuck? And it was just like an armadillo.
Yeah.
Sorry. Shout out.
Yeah, dude, armadillos are weird. I've like when I was like way younger, and like I was like, I wouldn't say attacked, but an armadillo chased me totally, and like my family says it's bullshit, but I'm like, no, man, armadillos will fuck with you if there's like little babies around. They don't play no fucking games, dude, and they're little as shit. And I was at this, like, we were picking up my sister from some summer camp, and we were all hiking around, and in this tall grass there's this armadillo, dude. It takes off for me. Those things are fast too.
Yeah.
I wouldn't fuck with an armadillo. Wouldn't fuck with a possum.
What could an armadillo actually do? Do they have teeth?
I don't know about that, but they carry a lot of fucking Lyme disease, man. So you can catch Lyme disease from armadillos for sure. And my buddy Troy said, yeah, they'll fuck you up, man. I wouldn't fuck with an armadillo. No way, man. That's like
I'm not trying to fuck with any animals.
Or I mean, if it like, yeah, I mean, I would take. I don't like spiders at all, so I'd probably fuck with an armadillo before I fucked with then be bit by a black widow or brown recluse. Because spiders get you when you're not looking. It's too late.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like an armadillo, like, it would just, like, it could bite you, but I feel like it just roll into a ball and like roll into your ankles or something.
But they got like claws too. They got some like scratchy ass claws. So I mean, I don't know. I've never like seen them in swift action, but I wouldn't fuck with it. Like if an armadillo was bigger, it'd be scary as shit. That's one of those animals where it's like you're like, oh, fuck that armadillo. If that thing was big, like the size of a dog, you would not be fucking with that thing. It would be built to fucking last, dude.
What was Rocksteady and Bebop in the Ninja Turtles?
I think one of them was a like warthog type dude. Yeah, Bebop and Rocksteady. I think one of them was a warthog, and what was the other one? Let's look. We'll pull this.
But that's like an example of like when you like blow up a animal and like.
Yeah, but warthogs are already kind of nasty, so I wouldn't. But like, yeah, I wouldn't fuck with any of these things. But this dude it's the most A&M shit I've ever seen. Yeah, a large armadillo would essentially be like a rhino, only scarier because it'd be like armor plated and it'd be all like, man, have some crazy ass tail. Nah, fuck that.
Do you trust anybody who calls a possum an opossum?
No, I don't.
Yeah, me neither.
When I was typing it in the notes for the clip, I put like possum, and then I was like, oh, it's opossum, so I don't really want to do it, but I have to. And then one last little thing, Taco Fall. I don't know if you know guys know who he is. Played in the NBA.
Celtics.
Yeah, he's massive. He's playing in China, bro, and he is dominating people. He looks like fucking Wilt Chamberlain out here. He is honestly like running the court, stealing the ball, jumping from all over the place, dunking it. It's wild. I'm honestly, warthog and a rhino, Bebop and Rocksteady. Yeah, the other one was a rhino. Good call. But man, like, where was this when he was in the NBA? I know it's China, so it's different. But man, he is dominating people. I mean, good for him. Shout out Taco Fall. I didn't know
that he was out of the league.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing in like some Chinese league, but he's like, I'm balling on people. Like backing people down, hooks, dunking all over people, like Euro stepping. It's crazy. swatting everybody's shot, but he's so much bigger than everybody else. It's almost
Yeah,
not
but
fair.
I mean, they like built a fucking statue of Stefan Marbury out in China, like because he like went out there and just like dominated, you know.
Yeah, but Stephon Marbury is also pretty badass. Stephon Marbury was pretty awesome. He sold a lot of shoes, so the Starberries, a lot of cheap shoes, but he was a total dick. There's this movie called, what is it, Celtic Pride, and it's got Dan Aykroyd in it, and it's got one of the Wayans brothers. He basically plays a hyperbolic version of, or maybe just a realistic version of Stephon Marbury. That movie, and they kidnap him. Have you seen that movie? It's like pretty bad.
I've seen it like multiple times.
It's pretty bad. Whenever I saw it, I was like, what the fuck is this? This is the weirdest shit ever. And that was an interesting time in movies, sports movies in general, because that Wayans brother is in a lot. Damon Wayans is in a lot of like sports oriented movies during that period of time. Like, you're a quarterback, or you're this, or you're that. Like, right? That's such a goofy cast. When you had
I used to hang out with his son Craig Wayans.
What?
And,
Really?
yeah, one time he walked into the apartment and me and my buddy, the Quant, were chilling in, and Drake was on. This is like a while back, like, you know, early Drake. And he's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Y'all listen to Drake without women around? What's going on here?
Yeah.
And we just like make like, that's just been like a running joke forever.
Yeah, I could see that though. I mean,
He was like literally shocked that anybody would listen to Drake without like a female requesting it.
oh no, one last thing. OJ Simpson. OJ, this is sports related because OJ Simpson's on Twitter. He has been for forever. OJ's fucking crazy, and now he's trying to get verified. He posted a 2.5 minute long video talking to Elon Musk about getting him blue check verified because
But he can't afford the $8 a month that Elon's going to charge now. So
I don't know, man. With his NFL pension, I think he can, because he's got NFL pension and they can't touch that. So that's his whole thing, is he hid his money, hid a bunch of stuff, and now he's got his pension, so he can ride that out. He's got money. Like, OJ's not broke, to say the least, but you know, first running back to run for 2,000 yards, obviously a huge piece of trash.
We're throwing out stats on OJ now?
No, but I mean, he's a huge garbage person, and now he's trying to get verified. But it has to do with sports, because I'm not playing the audio. It's just a creepy video. But it's so weird that he's on Twitter and asking to be blue check verified. Like, OJ just kind of needs to disappear a little bit. But I don't know. And fuck Mattress Mac, man. I hate that fucking guy. He's such a wiener. I do not understand Mattress Mac. And that's what I'm saying. I hate that. And he's like, oh, if I win, everybody who buys a bed from me. But he doesn't win shit. When has Mattress Mac actually hit one of these big bets? Has he ever hit one?
I know he's hit a couple, like, long shots on the Astros to win the World Series a couple years ago, but beyond that,
He was probably helping
when
him
they
cheat.
when they cheated, when they fucking cheated, is that when he hit a bet? That should be null and void. He should have to give that back, dude. Fuck you, Mattress Mac. And people who were like, oh, he's like a Astros mascot. I'm like, that's a shitty mascot. A super old dude who sells beds. He's like the Houston equivalent of the My Pillow guy.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we got the Philly fanatic over here.
Yeah, Philly's got great fucking. I mean, arguably the Eagles mascot's the worst.
I mean, he's not bad.
No, he's not bad, but I'm saying in comparison to Philly Fanatics, amazing. He's a legend in the game.
I forget what the Flyers one's called, but he's like
Isn't it Gritty?
Yeah, Gritty. He was like, yo, Philly Fanatic, hold my beer. I'm gonna act even crazy.
Yeah, he's crazy like that. Nerf. There's a Nerf mascot that's like covered in Nerf dots. Philly, yeah, we might have some bad fans, but like we're just passionate. So
yeah,
I mean,
by the way, we forgot to mention that the Philadelphia Union and the MLS went to the championship.
Let's go. So Philly's on top of the sports world right now, and like fuck.
Straight up, except for the Sixers.
Fuck the Astros.
Yeah.
Like, I love that. Like, you know, I mean, obviously, like, I was never really that big of a JJ Watt fan. I don't know why. It's just like he just kind of got on my nerves a little bit.
He's fucking annoying. Like during Hurricane Harvey.
Well, I mean,
not
to
besmirch.
besmirch.
It was like, no, it was like there, like everybody, you know, the whole city's flooded, and he drove to the practice facility and filmed himself like working out, like, and he's like, still got to get in my rep. It's like, shut the fuck up. People are dying. Like, nobody cares that you're like.
Well, he right now, now to be fair, like, also shout out JJ Watt, because he did raise a shit ton of money for a lot of people. He raised like 50, 60 million dollars for that area. So not to besmirch his charity work or anything, but like I just always found him as kind of like inauthentic. But I find a lot of sports athletes inauthentic. But I'm glad that he's not on Houston anymore because I don't have to fucking hear about him. He doesn't do shit on Arizona. So I don't do JJ SWAT. I hated that. That used to drive me crazy.
His brother's better than him anyways.
Yeah, he is. His brother is a badass. And like and then their other brother is a fullback. He caught a touchdown against the Eagles over the weekend. But yeah,
you're welcome.
And you know what? And I haven't gloated at all yet. Like shout out Eagles. Let's fucking go. Warhorn, still undefeated. Jalen Hurts lighting it up. Looks like the best offense in football. Throwing dots and dimes all over the fucking field. Who gives a shit if the Cowboys won? Because the Eagles look like they're gonna run away with this division. We're favored like 75% or higher in every game except for our game against the Cowboys, and it's like 45 or 46%, so it's almost a pick 'em.
Yeah, and it's gonna look like Hurricane Harvey tomorrow when the Eagles roll into Houston. Yeah, that's right.
Get out of here! Don't say shit like that. I'm booing you for that. That's terrible, Mr. Goody. Everybody, too soon. Still too soon, man. But I mean, that's crazy that they're playing on Thursday Night Football. They're playing in Philly. It's like back and forth. It's like, a really good time to be a Philly sports fan right now. Well, all right, we're gonna get into it. It's about time. You guys have been chatting with me. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate it. Having people to talk about with topics is great. But we're getting into the bets. I played your sound effect. All right, we're gonna start out with the good, Mr. Goody. I'm gonna bring it back up to the big screen. We're going back big screen, baby. So last week, I'm going to do a recap real quick. This is why that's still in there. But last week,
No, I know that. Like, you just had the recap of, like, a recap, like, for 2.0, but you had my stuff fine.
Oh, yeah. No, he always goes through and deletes his stuff, so.
Word.
All right, well, yeah, get into your recap.
So I had, I stepped up from a 5-team favorite parlay to a 7-team favorite parlay that altogether was plus 996. I had the Vikings, Dolphins, Eagles, Bills, Cowboys, Titans, and the Monday Night Bengals. 6 hit on Sunday. Guess who doesn't? The fucking Bengals lose to the goddamn Browns and just blow up my 17 parlay.
I feel like there's been a couple of teams, like the Bengals have done that a couple times. Cardinals have like blown some big. Like
Cardinals have never been in any of my parlays.
No, well, I'm saying in like the Bengals, the Cardinals, the Bucks, in these like parlays where they're doing like favorite parlays, and they've like or like they're or like in a pick'em league where it's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna pick Bucks over Carolina in this week because that's an easy gimme, and I haven't picked the Bucks yet, and then the Bucks get smoked.
The Bucks fucked me the last 2 weeks.
And the Bengals, that was a rough game, and they're down their best receiver for a couple weeks, so 6 out of 7, that's rough.
I know. I wasn't even paying attention, and then I was going back through it today for the podcast, and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding?" It was just the Bengals, and it was the Monday night game. God damn it.
Yeah.
All right, and then I did a 3-team long shot parlay that was plus 935. It was Commanders, Ravens, Jets, and the Jets fumbled the fucking ball. Of course they did.
Yeah, the Jets definitely fudged the bucket on that shit for sure. They played like shit. But see, and that's interesting because I know that's like long shots, but also like the Jets that were 5-2 at the time, something like that.
Well, I call them long shots because they're not favorites. So
I get that.
You could call it an underdog parlay, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, but I mean, that's interesting that they weren't favored in that game because they've been playing so good. And like, I mean, obviously we saw Wilson regress. Some people are saying he's the next Carson Wentz.
Well, they lost their running back.
Yeah, they lost their running back, but then they traded for another one. But like, I mean, there was like some really bad interceptions while they had a lead by Wilson. Jets definitely blew that game. That's rough, man. Well,
I know. So that's kind of the dichotomy here, like with the parlays. It's I hit 8 out of the 10 picks, except for no units, because that's how it works.
Yeah. So how many units were you down off your football bets last week?
So I've been just doing a unit on each parlay.
Oh, okay.
So now I think I'm like right around even for the season.
All right.
All right. And then do you want me to give you this week's?
Yeah, let's hear them.
All right. So I'm gonna stick with the same 7-team favorite parlay. So this one's a plus 704.
Okay.
I've got Patriots, Bills, Dolphins, Vikings, Eagles, Chiefs, Ravens. I'm a little bit nervous about the Patriots. A little bit nervous about the Vikings, but other than that, I think we're ready to go.
All right. I like those picks, man. Those are all pretty good. And what's your
Yeah, that's that's three teams in the AFC East. I was like, I don't know, that's a lot, but let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Noticeably, the Jets not in there. Uh, and then I got a 3-team long shot parlay for plus 1,055, and these are money line parlays, so just all they have to do is win. Seahawks, Rams, Falcons.
Betting on the Rams.
I know, but who are they playing?
Well, then they're down Cooper Kupp because he's out right now.
Well, that might open up the offense, but they also just got Van Jefferson back.
Yeah, Van Jefferson's huge for them. I really like Van Jefferson. He's a great weapon.
But it's Rams at the Bucks. It's like who's more disappointing this year, the Buccaneers or the Rams? It's like they're pretty close to
I'd say probably the Bucks. I would say the Bucks, honestly, because they're they're healthier while they have injuries too, and they've been kind of mounting up over the past few weeks. I mean, they were definitely, I would say that their defense on paper, I would pick their defense over, but now, I mean, I'd say the Bucks are a bigger disappointment, honestly, because they're in what is considered probably the worst division right now. I mean, they're tied.
No, the AFC South is pretty bad.
Yeah, they're tied with the Saints for second. So, you think Atlanta's got a full game lead over them. And they're only one game ahead of Carolina, who just did a fire sale on everybody. And
they tried to. They didn't really succeed.
Well, they got rid of a lot of people besides Burns.
2 guys.
Besides Burns, yeah, but some of their best assets. They still have DJ Moore, and they still have Burns. They're really good outside linebackers. So they didn't trade everyone, but they traded quite some pretty substantial pieces, especially in McCaffrey, shipping him off. I mean,
and he looked good in that Niners game.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say the Rams tried to trade Akers, and they couldn't even get a deal done. Nobody wanted his ass.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I'm not surprised.
He single-handedly torpedoed my entire fucking fantasy season. I took him 29th overall, and I can't put him in the goddamn game.
I've got
running backs. Yeah, it's one thing if he tore his ACL, but he just sucks. What the fuck?
Well, he did last year, and then he came back after he tore his knee up and balled the fuck out and helped win a Super Bowl. So I think the league's just waiting for him to get cut so he can clear waivers and then someone can pick him up. I think that's probably what he would want to, is to just get cut. But he's not playing, so no one's really seen him do much. He's just kind of hanging out, and it seems all disgruntled. So no one wants to trade some sort of asset for that guy to bring him in when they can.
I think he's
just
washed.
Wait. No, I don't think he's washed. I think he's just sitting there and waiting. They're going to cut him, and the league is waiting for them to call his bluff. Because there's a lot of teams, like Tampa Bay could use a running back and someone who could catch out of the backfield to complement Fournette. There's a lot of teams that need that. They just don't want to give up any assets for him, because they've done such a bad job of making him a desirable asset for anyone that why would I trade shit for him, It's like trading for Baker Mayfield right now. If you need a quarterback and he's the best available on the market, he's got benched. We're not seeing him play. He's barely doing shit. So it's why would I trade? I'd just cut him. I'll just wait for you to cut his ass, and then I'll sign him. So people did with Antonio Brown.
I can play better quarterback than Baker Mayfield can at this point.
I know. I'm just using that as an example, as someone who's underperformed, and then it's or Jerry Jeudy. No one wanted really to trade for Jeudy. If they did, the asking price for the Broncos was way too high. For what? Because he's hurt. He's hurt a lot. Has a lot of drops. Besides running deep, we haven't really seen him do much. So they're better off waiting for him to come out as a free agent than bringing him in for an asset and having to sign him long term, because they still haven't signed him. So if he comes in and balls the fuck out, then you're gonna have to say cut his ass. Not that the Broncos will cut him, but if you want a first or second round pick for him, that's laughable. I'm not giving you that. If you want to do that, you want to get rid of him that bad, just cut him. And Claypool got moved. But no, I mean those are so wait, run through those 3 picks again. Sorry, went on a tangent.
No, it's all good. So the long shot parlay, it's Falcons at home against the Chargers.
Yep.
The Rams on the road against Tampa Bay. Like one of those teams is gonna have to lose the game. Even though they've been losing. And then I don't even understand how the fucking Seahawks are not favored against the Cardinals, but it's in Arizona, I guess, is like the only thing you can. I mean, whatever. Like that's a home field advantage. I doubt it.
They're tough at home. They're really bad on the road. And we said it last week. Geno Smith for MVP, dude. He's like climbed up the MVP ranks now.
Yeah, but like if this game's in Seattle, like the Seahawks are like 5-point favorites or something. It's like you get like usually they give you 3 points for home field advantage, and then from there like it gets adjusted.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean the fact that the Seahawks are not like just so disrespectful.
Yeah,
Geno.
They still don't really believe in him, but he's been balling the fuck out. So he looks like he's just
the whole team has. Their defense is playing good.
Oh
like,
yeah, yeah. They look
like their running back is just what was his name, Walker? Like just like tearing fools up. Like,
yeah, K9, Kenneth Walker, the third, number 9. He's been balling out, but he was great at Michigan State. I think a lot of people who watch Big Ten football knew what they were getting. So it's like I said before, is there's always somebody. It's like next man up for running back in Seattle, and it has been for a long time. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, he's been balling the fuck out for sure. And they look like the class of the division outside of the 49ers, but we just watched them play one good game. They still have a bunch of injuries, and we haven't seen them be real consistent because they lost the week before last. So, we'll see what they've got long term. But,
the Niners are right behind the Cowboys and Eagles for the NFC like odds as far as coming out of the conference.
Yeah, and that has a lot to do with that trade for McCaffrey and this adding of a new weapon, and a lot of it's like projection or projections, and it's all kind of like hearsay at this point because we got to see him consistently do it. We got to see Christian McCaffrey stay healthy all season. We have to see Jimmy Garoppolo because if Jimmy Garoppolo gets hurt, then they're fucked. Then they don't have a quarterback. There's so many things that hinge on health for that team that it's really difficult. They're another big injury away from being fucked and being out of the playoffs and not.
I know, and Jimmy G might get syphilis because he likes to hang out with the porn stars.
Yeah, porn star Jimmy, dude. Well, all right, man. Those are Mr. Goody's picks. I'm feeling them. Hopefully you hit them. Now we get into the Joe, the 2.0, the robot, the man. How did we do last week? Lay it on me. How much money did I lose?
All right. Excuse me. So last week we went 3-2. We're up 0.8 units. Not a lot of profit, but you'll never go broke making a profit, so I'll take it. So
they teach you that in the frat or what?
Nah, that's just general good advice,
I like your style.
Yeah. Make a profit. How are you ever gonna go broke?
It's true. It's true. Yeah, that's right.
Or you could be like Elon Musk and not make a profit and just be the richest man in the world. So yeah.
$8, man. He's gonna get all of his money, his $44 billion back, $8 at a time, dude.
Dude, he's got a $1 billion interest payment every year.
All right. Well, give us a recap of these picks that we hit and we did not hit.
All right. So first up, we had the Titans -2 at the Texans. Like expected, Derrick Henry ran all over this Texans defense. It really wasn't close. I was a lot higher on the Texans going into the season.
Yeah.
But they're very underperforming, I guess you could say. Not that I'd expect them to win 8 to 10 games, but I figured they'd be better by now. But anyways, that bet hit. We had the 49ers -1.5 at the Rams, which does hit. 49ers continue to dominate the Rams. Sean McVay is a great coach, but for some reason he just can't get over Josh Yeah, wait. Who's the 49ers head coach? I'm having a brain
Shanahan.
Fart. Yeah, Kyle Shanahan. Yeah, and they were they used to be on the same coaching staff, with the Redskins, I think.
Mm-hmm. Then we had the Ravens money line at the Buccaneers that did hit as well at even money. We had the little over teaser, the Raiders at the Saints over 44. The Saints did their part. They put up 24 points. The Raiders offense looked abysmal.
Dude, they're so bad.
I know.
They had something like a flu going on around the team, and that's why they didn't play well. I don't know. I just don't think Josh McDaniels is a very good head coach.
Yeah, what like the Raiders, like we were saying, like who's more disappointing, the Rams or the Bucks? Like the Raiders are right up there.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Raiders are big disappointments. I thought, I had the Chargers not making the playoffs because I thought the Broncos, the Raiders, and the Chiefs would be too competitive. And
Yeah.
I look like borderline right about the Chargers, but man, like the Broncos and the Raiders, but the Raiders are like by far and away the biggest disappointment, biggest drop off in offense we've seen. It looks like
No, their offense. If you look at the stats, like their offense puts up, like they're right up like in the top 10, like an offense.
yeah,
It's weird.
at the same time, whenever you're getting shut out in a game, like
Yeah.
they got shut
Oh
out,
yeah.
so it's like, nah, man, they got a
And the
goose egg.
Saints.
And like and it has it. A lot of their yards, their points, or their yardage has been really meaningless. It's like trailing and they're chunking the ball around. They have a good running back in Jacobs, but they look completely dysfunctional. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Carr looks like he's regressed in his decision making, which is really weird. Like he's banking on the fact they have some really good, talented players out there. And they can't get it done. They can't get over the fucking hump. And their defense has been
their
trash.
tight end looks like he's about to be out of the league, and he just like signed a huge deal, right?
Yeah. Waller, and he's
Waller,
great.
yeah.
He's a beast. But like, where
Not
is
anymore.
he? Yeah, where the fuck is he? It's like all these people have just dropped to the wayside. It's crazy.
Yeah, as a Broncos fan, I do love seeing the Raiders suck. And then on the other side of that teaser, we had the Cardinals at the Vikings over 43. That does hit. But overall, the teaser did lose. And then the upset of the week, we had the Giants money line at the Seahawks. That did not hit. But overall, like I said earlier, 3-2, up 0.8 units. So hard to complain about that.
Let's go. 2.0.
So, yes, sir.
Now let's get
So
into your
looking
bets for
at
this week. Yeah.
First up, we got the Seahawks first quarter money line at the Cardinals at even money.
That's a good bet.
If you go and go into your sports books, you can if you click on the games, you should be able to find a breakdown of more bets for that game. That's where you'll be able to find this first quarter bet. So breaking it down a little bit, the Seahawks have the best first quarter offense, averaging 7.6 points per game, while the Cardinals defense is the worst in the league, giving up 6.9 points per game. Cardinals also have the worst first quarter offense with just 1.1 points per game in the first quarter, while the Seahawks defense ranks 12th in the league at 3.9 points per game. And if you look at the season overall, the Seahawks are 4-1-3 on the first quarter money line, with the one loss coming at the 49ers in the week 2. Meanwhile, the Cardinals are 0-6-2 on the first quarter money line. Their game 3 weeks ago, they were tied 3-3 after the first quarter, so we might see a similar result this week, but then it's just a push. So nothing gained, nothing lost. But at even money, I'm comfortable taking the Seahawks on the first quarter money line.
Yeah, that's a really good bet. I think the Cardinals are the worst, like in the first half, like let alone the first quarter. So yeah, I like that bet.
Yeah, man. How do you get a 1? Like, how are you averaging 1 like less than 2 points? That's crazy for the first quarter. That's really crazy. I mean, obviously there's a lot of goose eggs in there, but there's some threes. Like, you're not doing shit. 1 point, 1.6, 2 points.
Does that mean like Kingsbury's a better coach than we thought? Because like he goes into halftime and like figures his shit out, or what?
Well, you mean you can. There's different types of coaches. Like Sirianni for the Eagles has got a game plan and has got like a good script. And the one criticism you could make is like we make over adjustments in the second half and try to do too much, and that's why like from this first quarter and second quarter the Eagles offense gets better, and then we kind of regress in the third. We've seen that kind of change last week. But
however, they probably are like in the bottom tier as far as points scored in the second half.
Yeah, definitely.
They just get on teams so early.
Yeah, I know, and it carries over. But with Kingsbury, I don't know if I'd want my coach to be like shitty game planning in the first half and then rely on him to make adjustments to come back and win. That's not that'd be difficult to overcome every single week. That'd be really tough on your defense, which is why, and they have some talented players like Buda Baker on the Cardinals is an amazing safety. They have some great players on defense over there, but they're getting overworked. It's the same with, you could say for Denver, is like the Denver's got a lot of talent on defense, but the number of reps those guys are getting per game, they're falling apart at the end. So they might be great against the run, but shitty field position and, subpar quarterback play means rather than getting 45 defensive plays, or or like 50 to 55 defensive plays as a defense. Now we're up in like the 70s, and those guys are getting fucking tired.
Yeah.
And the Cardinals' offense isn't set up to really like sustain long drives. It's like big long punches. But yeah, I mean, I like that bet. I think I like that bet. What about the second one on your Stone Cold Salami Locks of the week?
So we're staying with the first quarter bets here. This time we're taking the Vikings first quarter minus half a point at the Commanders at plus 110. You can find it like Vikings money line at like about minus 150 if you don't want to risk the half a point and want to take a push if it is tied after the first quarter. But at plus money, I'm confident taking the Vikings here. So they do well in the first quarter. The Vikings are 3-1 in the first quarter over the last 3 weeks. Their offense averages about 4 points per game in the first, while the Commanders' defense gives up the same amount. But on the flip side, the Commanders are just 1-4-3 on the first quarter money line this season, and their offense is only slightly better than the Cardinals, averaging 1.6 points per game in the first quarter. But they have also not scored a first quarter touchdown since week 1. So Vikings, they're a lot worse than their record says, but they are well coached. They're going to come out. They're going to have a solid game plan against this Commanders. So let's take the Vikings first quarter minus half a point at the Commanders.
Well, that's a solid bet. The Vikings just picked up Hawkinson from the Lions, which is gives them a tight end, another weapon. So you should see him get some reps. So are you saying the Vikings are fool's gold?
I do. Like, they're good, but like if you look at the teams that they played here, let me pull it up.
Yeah, they're not.
They're not as good as their record for sure.
Are they better than the Giants?
I don't know. That one's tough. I feel like talent-wise, the Vikings are better than the Giants, but if they played the head-to-head, that'd probably be a pick-em for me.
Yeah, I mean, don't they play this year?
Yeah, the Vikings still got to play the Cowboys, and they got to run through. They're playing our division, so we got to play them just like we got to play the Packers and shit. So, right. That'll be a good test. So we'll get to see that Vikings team against two other teams that I think are overrated, of course, but, that's just barking down from the top of the mountain as an Eagles fan. But yeah, they got Heineke out there playing, actually came back with some magic, made Matt Ryan lose his fucking job for the Colts, and now they're starting Sam Ehlinger because Heineke came back and won that game. So like the Commanders are no pushovers. So I mean, this game could be closer, but as a first quarter bet, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. Because I mean, it takes a while. Everything we see Heineke do, it's like later in the game, plays break down. But, going out there, first quarter, let's run. We have our first 2 or 3 drives scripted. Let's run them. I don't believe in the Commanders at all. Fuck that. And that's all. That's honestly when the Vikings.
You don't believe in Heineke, bro?
That's when the Vikings get on you. Well, if what they can do starts early in the first half, the Vikings can get the fuck on you, and then they can just start handing the ball to Dalvin Cook, and he can just slowly grind away on you and then play action. But it's whenever they get behind and Kirk Cousins has got to go out there and win a game, that's when they blow. I don't think them getting. Yeah, that's a good bet. What's your next one? Number 3.
Next up, we got the Bills at the Jets. We're taking under 47.5 at minus 120. So some books still have it at 47.5. My book had it at 47, but I bought the half a point to bring it up to 47.5. It does increase the odds from minus 110 to minus 120. But I think that extra point is really worth it, and it could save us from a push. So if you break it down a little bit, this Jets defense is really good. They rank second in yards per play, They rank 10th against the pass and 9th against the run. This Bills offense is dominant, but they did take their foot off the gas against this Green Bay team. And so, like, they don't need to blow out the Jets. They just need to get the win. Like, I don't think they're that concerned with making that statement. Everybody knows that they're one of the best teams in the league. And then on the flip side for the Jets, Zach Wilson is the worst QB under pressure, and the Bills have one of the best front sevens in the league. They'll be able to generate a bunch of pressure without blitzing, without bringing in a bunch of guys. Zach Wilson's going to be under pressure. He's going to make mistakes. He's going to make bad throws, and I think this Bills team is going to be able to take advantage of it. So I don't expect a lot of points out of the Jets, and I think the Jets defense is good enough to hold the Bills to like 25, 30, even 35 points. But like even if they score that much, I still think this under is going to come in. So let's take the Bills at the Jets under 47.5.
All right. Yeah, I don't think the Jets stand a chance. Are the Bills better than the Eagles right now? Who's better right now as a complete team? I say the Eagles are more complete. Not to be a hater, but
I don't know. That one's tough.
Yeah, that is tough. I think they're clearly the two best teams in the league, but I don't know.
You guys marinate on them for a second. Just think about that. What's your next one?
All right, next up we got the Chargers at the Falcons. We're taking over 49.5 at -110. So this Falcons team keeps finding ways to win despite their really bad defense that is dead last against the pass, and has given up over 1,000 yards of offense in the last 2 weeks.
Ooh.
And you have Justin Herbert, and then Keenan Allen. He should be back. He's been like injured. He's been questionable ever since week 2 of the season. They are coming off of the.
He just got hurt. He just got hurt again.
Oh my god.
He's always hurt, man. I told you, dude.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but like, man, that there is an injury bug that, like you've said before, Goody. Ever since they punctured Tyrod Taylor's lung, but probably even before that, I don't know what's going on, but people are getting fucking hurt in San Diego like constantly. They can't. It's so.
Well, it's not San Diego. It's L.A.
Oh, L.A.
And
sorry, it'll always
Keenan
be San
Allen,
Diego.
Yeah, Keenan Allen gets fucking hurt eating sandwiches. Like he just.
Well, but
yeah,
Eckler, Williams, him, Derwin James, Bosa, all these guys are hella injury prone. Like they're like really good, but they're like Ferraris that have something wrong with the wiring and you can't get it to start all the time, and it's like you're constantly keeping in the fucking shop.
I mean, in my league of dorks, I drafted Keenan Allen as a rookie and traded him because I just couldn't stand how often he was fucking injured.
I feel like every time when you talk about it, you drafted every player that existed as a rookie. You're always like, whenever I had this guy, I drafted him as a rookie. Everybody.
Nah,
Dude,
who'd
you? Well, I guess that would be a whiff though, because he's good, but no, I mean you got some good years out of Keelan Allen, but have you thought about letting him go?
I traded him like 5 years ago.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, all right. I thought you meant like you still have him. Whenever you bring it up, I feel like you still have these guys.
Well, I still have Russ.
Let's ride. All right, what's your next one? I like this next one, baby.
All right, so next up we got a little 2-team teaser here. So we're taking the Eagles at the Texans. We're teasing it down from -14 to -8. Then we're going Panthers at the Bengals. We're teasing the Bengals down from -7.5 to -1.5. So starting off with this Eagles-Texans team, the Eagles are dominant. They're one of the top 3 teams in the league. Their offense ranks 8th in passing and 6th in rushing so far on the season. They're going against a Texans defense that ranks 17th against the pass and are dead last against the run. Like I talked about a little bit earlier, Derrick Henry ran all over this defense. And I think this Eagles team with Miles Sanders and Jalen Hurts, they're going to be able to do the same exact thing. And you also have a weak Texans offense going against an elite Eagles defense. So this teaser takes us under that 9 number, so with that, I think the Eagles will be able to cover this pretty easily. Like I said earlier, the Texans are just underperforming on this season, and the Eagles are just that good.
Yeah.
Then we have the Panthers at the Bengals. So the Panthers have been playing really well recently, and the Bengals did lose Jamar Chase for a couple weeks. He will be out for this game. However, last week the Falcons were able to do whatever they wanted against this Panthers pass defense. And I think we'll see a similar story this week against the Bengals. Even without Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow still has plenty of weapons, and this offensive line will be able to protect him, as the Panthers' defense ranks 30th in sack rate. We saw that same thing happen against the Falcons. Falcons are last in the league in sack rate. Their Bengals' offensive line could protect him, and Joe Burrow threw for like 460 yards or something ridiculous like that. I think we'll see like a similar story this week, and I think the Panthers are finally gonna come back down to earth a little bit. So we are teasing this down from the Bengals -7.5 to -1.5.
Okay. What do you think of those teasers? You're normally critical of the teasers, Mr. Goody.
No, I mean, well, the no, I think it's good. Like the teasing the Eagles down, you know,
Yeah.
like buys you a little bit of points. I think they're gonna blow them out like they just did the Steelers, but we'll see.
Yeah. All right. And what's your don't bet for the week?
So don't bet. We got the Rams at the Buccaneers. This is just a weird game. Rams have lost 3 of their last 4. Buccaneers have lost 4 of their last 5. You have two teams that are seriously underperforming this year. Buccaneers are favored by 3. I believe it's in Tampa Bay. Yeah, it's in Tampa Bay. I don't know. The Rams are going to be without Cooper Kupp, but the Bucs are just so bad.
Sloppy.
I personally don't want any part of this game, so
Yeah, I mean, I could see Donald just eating Tom Brady's lunch.
Yeah, I mean, you could see a resurgence of the Rams defense, but I mean, yeah, Tom Brady looks sloppy as fuck, dude. Like, and then for them to not make any moves around the trade deadline, I mean, they just look sloppy as shit, man. Like, I feel like that's why I said is I feel like they've underperformed as the Falcons have overperformed. So I'm more confident in the Falcons winning the division just because they're playing better than I expected, as their Tampa's so much worse than I expected. I mean, yeah, the Bucs could easily lose this game. I could see this being a bounce back game for the Rams for sure. The Bucs look like trash.
Yeah.
They look like absolute trash. And they just lost Shaq Barrett for the year. He just blew his knee out, which is, horrible. Shaq Barrett's fantastic. So they have a lot of really good talent, but they're missing a lot of people. Winfield might still be out with that concussion. Their running game is terrible. Tom Brady's just throwing fucking ducks left and right, smashing iPads.
And McVay can easily outcoach Todd Bowles. Like,
oh yeah,
I think.
Yeah. I mean, Todd Bowles is great at defense. I don't give him that, but they're missing a lot of weapons. But the offense totally runs through Tom Brady, and it looks shitty. They all look shitty. Like, I feel bad for Godwin. He's out there beasting. Other than that, everyone else looks like trash.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I like those picks, man. So we'll see how they go. That's the picks. Picks are in.
yes, sir.
So you're even, and are we pretty much even for the year on picks?
So let me pull it up. I think we are down a little bit on the year.
Of course we are.
So from the plays on the podcast, we're 18 and 21, down 3.4 units. I do play more personal bets than what I give out on this podcast, just as I learn more knowledge and just more information becomes available throughout the week. So me and you, we are up on this year, but on the podcast, we are down.
If it's not on the podcast, it doesn't count.
That's
just
true.
like my plus 1150 Phillies bet last night.
But I do like that you're
playing. A little bit different though.
See, I like that you are placing side bets that aren't about the podcast. Like, so keep that up. That's good. I like that shit. That's for sure. So I was like, man, you better be betting some of this shit, dude. I'm trying to walk away with some money. We need to, like, maybe depending on how the year goes, we got to, like, place, like, some crazy ass bet for, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, some sort of parlay for the Super Bowl where we take all of the winnings You take your half, and then we take my half of whatever's left over. We put that all on some big crazy bet.
Ooh, okay.
Some weird ass like in-game parlay bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
What color is the Gatorade that they're gonna dump on the Eagles coach?
Yeah, that would be good. That would be a good bet. But I'd want to do something like somebody has like this many catches, somebody runs for this many, or something where it's just crazy. Where if we hit it, it'd be like an absurd amount of money.
Like a little same game parlay or something.
Yeah, same game parlay on the Super Bowl. That'd be nice. That'd be sweet. Fuck yeah. Well, real quick, if you guys have time, I wanted to just talk. There's a shit ton of trades that went down on the deadline. Who do you guys really think won from these trades? I think the Eagles came out pretty good. Saw a lot of people move. Obviously, the Broncos lost, in my opinion. I don't think they really made anything. And I mean, you saw a lot of teams fire sale. But I mean, who do you think besides the 49ers or the Eagles? Who else were you really digging on the trades?
The Dolphins got Chubb, right?
Yeah, so it's big for them. That's a big investment. I mean, they're gonna have to pay him. I don't know how much, but that's what I'm saying. They're just the way they're paying people now is like front loading it and paying out of pocket for a lot of people, and then not having them count against the salary cap. People are trading picks away like crazy. Because I mean, right now I got it pulled up. Yeah, Robbie Anderson to the Cardinals, but that's because he almost punched his coach. Christian McCaffrey, James Robinson to the Jets, Quinn to the Eagles, Kadarius Toney. That could be a huge move for the Chiefs. He's super, super good. Kind of a nutcase, but he's really good and didn't want to play in New York. Leading tackler got traded to the Ravens. That's huge. Hawkinson to the Vikings.
Claypool.
Yeah, and then I was going to get Claypool to the Bears. That could be a big move. I don't know if I like how much they spent on it. Bradley Chubb to the Dolphins, Naheem Hines to the Bills. And what was really crazy is Calvin Ridley got traded to the Jags. And it's like he's suspended this year for betting when he was out, which is, that's kind of funny that we're talking about at the end of bets. But now Calvin Ridley goes to the Jags so he can play with them next year. That's a pretty big fucking move, man. Depending on how that works out long term and what he looks like when he comes back, that could be huge for Jacksonville.
Yeah, I mean, people were talking about Ridley being the best receiver in the league before he got suspended. So
yeah, I mean, that's what they were going to do. They were saying the Eagles were talking about trading for him before he got suspended, and the reason why they didn't is they found out that he's going to be suspended for gambling, so they chose not to, and they went for A.J. Brown instead. So
A.J. Brown looks like the best receiver in the league, so there we go.
Dude, some of those passes, I mean, he looks great, but I think, he looks like arguably, like the most physically dominant or most dominant receiver in the league. But, man, Jalen Hurts is throwing some amazing passes out there that are making it really easy on him, too. So, we can talk about how great Brown's been, but, we can't underplay, some of these, like the last game, those balls that were being thrown were just effortless. It was effortless, him catching those touchdowns. And he almost had another one, but then got ankle tackle or foot tackled. Other than that, I mean, it's just Jalen Hurts was doing whatever the fuck he wanted when he was throwing the ball.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a big difference going from Tannehill to Jalen Hurts. And plus, like, A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts are boys. Like, remember he called him, like, on draft day when they traded for him.
Yeah.
Like, FaceTime each other.
Yeah, and there's, Claypool, Chubb, Hawkinson. Some of these guys are close to, and Roquan Smith, who leads the league in tackles right now. A lot of these guys traded. Some of them are on the last year of their rookie deals. So I mean, do the Ravens re-sign Roquan Smith because I think he's on his last year of his rookie deal. I know Bradley Chubb is. So you think a lot of these guys are in new homes and going to get paid. So there's a lot of these contending teams making moves. That's a lot of trades, man. There's been a shit ton of trades going on.
Was that the trade deadline?
The trade deadline was Tuesday, so it was like there was a big push. We saw corner for I think it's Washington, maybe. I don't want to say missay his name, but young corner for Washington got traded to the Steelers. So you see other teams that are like borderline in contention making these moves for players, thinking they can get over the hump. We've seen a lot of divisions look like trash. I'm surprised Seattle really didn't do anything too crazy, but. Yeah, man, that Calvin, I know we can't see it till next year, but Calvin Ridley shouldn't be suspended, first of all. But that's a big move for next year. We'll see. I mean, I think I had the Niners not making the playoffs. I didn't know they'd have Christian McCaffrey, but I don't know, man. I hope the Seahawks win that division, and they don't. That'd be fucking hilarious. But it's probably not going to happen. Yeah, hey, Joe, is that an iPod behind you? Is that what that is, or is that a thermostat?
No, it's a thermostat.
That looks like an iPod. Like, that looks like an iPod.
Like old
school.
super old school.
Like before your time iPod. I remember those.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's an iPod?
Yeah, dude, I had an iPod Nano Color. That thing was so weird. It was so tiny, and someone stole it from me at work. Bitches. That's what it was, though. iPods were super easy to jack. You could gank someone's iPod pretty quick, man. So if someone saw it and they wanted, they could steal all your music. All of it. And you'd be like, fuck, dude, I lost all that shit. Because you could upload, you know, from anybody's Mac and add stuff to it. Man, that was the fucking worst. Oh, I can't believe I just reminded myself of that. Fuck you. Fuck you, whoever stole my iPod Mini Nano 1 gig. That thing was awesome. It had the camera. Not that I used it for anything, but you could take video on it. Fuck.
Why?
I don't know, because Apple was just like, oh, how do we keep people buying iPods and not listening to music on their phone? Or whenever somebody would have an iPod, like the one that looked like an iPhone, but it wasn't an iPhone, that was the weirdest time for iPods. And it was literally like, it looked like an iPhone. And I knew somebody who had an iPhone and had one of those. And I was like, how are you walking around? Like, just consolidate. Just like, use your fucking phone. What was that called? It wasn't a shuffle. That was that weird tiny one. I fucking hated those two. Anyway, I'm going on a tangent now. Well, that was Bets Picks 2.0 and Mr. Goody. Appreciate you guys being on. I'm going to do my little closing monologue and call it. Good show, though, guys. I appreciate y'all being on. As always, it's a good time. Hopefully, we are all blessed and everything's going good and we all make money off of these bets.
Where's 2.0 at? Right near the beach.
Yeah,
boy.
Seriously,
Yes,
dude.
sir.
You need to send me pictures of this sand. I'm telling you, dude, it does not sound sanitary at all. You need to be like spraying that with something at night.
Yeah, and also remember 2.0. Wear protection tonight because we don't need a 3.0 just yet.
Yeah, just yet, dude. Every episode we gotta put it out there. Knock it off, dude. Be careful.
All right, I'll do my best. All right.
No, I appreciate you guys being on. You guys are troopers. Thanks again. Appreciate you guys.
Yes, sir. Thank
Y'all
you.
the boys.
Later.
Laters. All right, now I gotta bring myself up big. Hey, well, that's number 9. We did it. Number 9 in the bag. Trade Town. Shit ton of trades. Robbie Anderson. I'm gonna punch my coach, but I'm out. Christian McCaffrey. Can he stay healthy? James Robinson. Good, but is Zach Wilson the next coming of Carson Wentz? Probably. Robert Quinn, he looks old as fuck, man. Robert Quinn's good, awesome. I'm glad he's on the Birds, but dude, that guy looks old as fuck without his helmet on. Kadarius Toney, the NFL's little Uzi Vert. Make a big splash with the Chiefs. We'll see. Roquan Smith leads the league in tackles on the Ravens. Great defense, turn the ball over. Got some injuries, though. And when I say great defense, I mean they give up yards and points, so he's going to have a big impact. TJ Hawkinson, I think that's to try to cover the fact the Vikings suck. Chase Claypool, Bradley Chubb, that's big. Calvin Ridley, we'll see in the future. I don't think Hines for Moss is that big of a deal. I don't think it's a big drop-off. Hines is good, but that's Singletary's team. Fuck the Astros. Let's watch the World Series. Just got a lot of stuff going on, man. It's a good time to be a sports fan. Good time to be watching stuff. So, check out everything. Hopefully Washington gets sold. Fuck Mattress Mac. Shout out to the first white corner in the league in 19 years. Apologies. And yeah, if you guys got time, check out Taco Fall. This motherfucker is balling in China. But, I'm going to call it here. Angry Black Quarterback, episode 9, Trade Town. Over and out. Dunzo. Peace.